Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. This is the Tier 1 category event. Tom Cairns in the country box. We've got 20 drivers waiting to go out for qualifying, three-part qualifying of Q1, Q2 and Q3 before a 50% race distance event here at the Hungaroring near the capital city of Budapest in Hungary. So Lezard in the AlphaTauri, going for 5 wins out of 5. He's looking to continue his perfect start to the season. There are a few drivers to mention who will not be participating in tonight's event. Smalley, who would normally be in the Red Bull, the reigning champion of the Tier 1 category, he's having to miss tonight. He will be replaced. Just pardon me one moment, let's just reduce the volume down. So back to what I was saying. Quick Killer 21, you can see, who is in the 15th position spot. He's replacing Smalley for tonight's event. Infinite Glory in place of one of the Mercedes drivers. Sorry, Infinite Glory's absent for tonight. He's replaced by Nathan. CRL Nathan, that is. Mystic Joker is also missing in the Renault. He's replaced by Harry, or Seesaw, I should say. And Dixon, one of the fastest drivers in this series, is also missing. He's replaced by Knight. Well, some drivers have started going out on circuit now. Becco is one of them in the AlphaTauri. He'll be hoping for an even better showing. 6th place in Monaco last time out for Becco, which is his best result of the season so far. Can he add to his total tonight? Churenbar will be hoping to continue his great start to the season, actually, in the Mercedes. He's in the pits at the moment. So Churenbar, back to the same. It's had 3 podium finishes, 3 third places in the first round in Japan, the 3rd race in Zandvoort, and the 4th race in Monaco. The 7th place finish came in round 2 in Canada. So Churenbar is, you have to say, going to be one of the closest challengers to Lezard in the title race. This is round 5 of 13 in this Formula Racing League. We will finish in July. I think it's the first Tuesday after the release of F1 2021. I'm sure a lot of drivers will be thinking about that going forward. Now Pimis, who is in the Williams, clearly has got a fan called Oscar tuning in. Welcome, Oscar. Feel free to get involved in the conversation. But Becco is on a flying lap in the AlphaTauri, the first one to cross over the line. So we get an opportunity to see what he manages to set. It's a 53-1 through sector 2. And with this being the Tier 1 category, this is the most competitive field. Out of all the tiers, there are 4 tiers in the Formula Racing League. 3 of the tiers compete tonight. The other competes later in the week on the Sunday. It's a 1 minute 14.8 for Lezard. We've got a Renault that's crossing over the line. That'll be Harry. One of the full-time drivers goes second fastest. Romans Republic goes up to second on a 1 minute 14.9. Harry's lap time is of 1 minute 14.9 as well. Quick Killer going 4th on the 15.5. And Leslie going to the top of the timing sheets on a 1 minute 14.0. Dean Phelan's been disqualified for the session for blocking the pit lane, so he won't be going through to the second part of qualifying. Dan Murphy's also opted out, So both Hasses, we know at this point, will not be going through to Q2. And there's a coming together between Harry and Pimis down at turn 4. Not sure what that's all about. But yeah, Pimis won't be too pleased about all of what's happened. If I was him, I would get moving before he ends up falling foul of the stewards. He has got damage to his front wing, so he will need to come back into the pits. Probably get another set of tyres on as well. Want to be staying within the confinements of the racetrack, ideally there, Pimis. Here's Socalpees, back after missing the last 3 races. He's yet to score a point. The only race he has done this season was the season opener in Japan, which saw him in the wall after coming together with another driver on the exit of the hairpin. He really needs to reignite his championship charge. He goes to the top of the timing pages so far on a 1 minute 13.5. So 9 drivers have posted times so far. Got a McLaren who's crossing over the line. That'll be Knight. That'll be to begin his first flying lap. Luna Ascari in the Alfa Romeo. She settled in nicely into the form of the Racing League and producing some great performances. Posts her first on the Q1. It's a 1 minute 15.3, which I think she may need to go again in order to book her place into Q2. Having said that, 2 drivers will not be going through to Q2 anyway, so at least that does boost her chances of getting through anyhow. And who's the next driver to cross over the line? That'll be, I think one of the Williams is crossing over the line, but I think that might be to start a flying lap while coming into the pits. It's Socalpees, look. Harry also entering the pit lane. Quick Killer is also crossing the line to start or finish another lap. And it's not as quick as before, as it stays in 8th. Big Bold Bells coming through. Not on a good lap. I think he's just on a prep lap, to be honest with you, before he goes on for a flyer. We'll go to Knight, who's just about to complete his first flying lap. Substitutes him for Dixon. It's a 1 minute 14.8. He goes up to 5th. Got the Alfa Romeo. Oh, we got a spinner. It's Quick Killer who's spun on the exit of turn 4. Luckily, he hasn't crashed the car completely. Otherwise, if he had wrecked it, that would have been his qualifying session over. So what other drivers have we got who are either starting or finishing laps? We've got Romans Republic just starting another lap. We've got the McLaren of Liverpool fan, I believe, who's just crossing over the line to start his effort. Lezard crossing over the line to start another flying lap for himself. Now, I am random person saying hi, Knight for the win. Statistic King also wishing everyone luck in the Tier 1 category. Statistic King is racing in Tier 2, I believe. We've got drivers just going off onto the grass at the moment just to move out of the way so they don't impede other drivers. There is Luna Ascari, who's just coming back into the pits. Big Boss Bells, or Exotic Alpha actually, is crossing over the line to start another lap. It seems as though the drivers are doing 2 timed laps here. Do a flying lap to begin with, then use the next lap to recharge the battery, and then go for another flying lap, and then come back into the pits then. We just haven't looked to see who has not yet posted a time. Pimis is one of them. Liverpool fan crossing over the line. It's a 15.5. He's the slowest of all those who have set a time so far. Softar's timing sector 2 is very slow. He's not on a proper lap, to be honest with you. Lezard has also retired from the session along with Table Peas, his nearest rival for this weekend. Well, for tonight. Vince is starting his first flying lap. Seesaw, another one of the reserves, also starting a flying lap of his. Churumbar's had his latest lap chalked off for exceeding track limits, and so he'll need to go again. The racing point of Exotic Alpha, who's 3/10 down from his earlier effort. Will he carry on? Will he decide to come into the pits? He's coming into the pits. Romans Republic nearly a 10th up from his previous efforts in Sector 2. Now, Orange and Gamma, I would think, I think he's just backing up to make sure he's got some space before he starts his next flying lap. Romans Republic crossing over the line in the Ferrari. It's not as quick as before, and so he stays in 8th place. Now here's Seesaw. 23 Primus crossing the line. It's a 14-2 for him. So here's Williams up there. Seesaw coming through. It's a 1:13.9. It's a good lap time that from Seesaw. Puts him second ahead of Lezard. I've got a Mercedes coming through. That's Nathan, who's one of the other reserves. He goes up to 4th with his 1:14.1. And we have Churumbar, who's just coming back into the pits. And we've got a Renault right behind him, who's just coming through the last turn. That'll be Harry, who is starting a flying lap of his. He's 12th fastest on a 1:14.9. Softar's another one of those drivers who has yet to post a representative lap time. His 2:02 is not a representative one. Orange and Gamma goes up to 5th on a 1:14.2. That puts him there for the time being, at least. We've got a McLaren of Knights who's not on a flying lap, but Harry, he is on a flying lap. I'm just looking at Seesaw, actually. Seesaw's on an in lap by the looks of things, so he'll be coming back in. Softar in the Alfa Romeo coming through. I do expect him to be in the realms of Q3 today. But he's coming back into the pits this time around. Probably taking enough life out of those tyres, to be honest with you. Churumbar coming back out of the pit lane. Here's Harry in the Renault DRS Open over the line, and it's going to be a 1:14.1, 8/10 faster than he set earlier, and that puts him up to 4th. It's a good lap time that from Harry. We've also got a Ferrari on track. That's Orange and Gamma. He'll be coming back into the pits. We have Churumbar out on circuit. He's on an out lap with over 5 minutes remaining. So in the bottom 5, we've got Liverpool fan, Softar, Churumbar, Dan Murphy, and Dean Phelan. We know that Dan Murphy and Dean Phelan won't be setting times. So I would say if you are going to be making it into Q2, you need to be in the low 1:15s minimum. Ideally, a high 1:14, depending on how quick the track evolves. But Churumbar is crossing over the line now to begin what should be his first flying lap of the session. It could well be his only one. He's not in the realms of dropping out unless he decides to exceed track limits on this circuit, on this lap, and needing to go again. His Michael Schumacher tribute helmet looks absolutely brilliant, even in today's Formula 1 cars. I could really, really do with one of those. Churumbar is coming through. should expect him to maybe in the high 52s in Sector 2. So 52.9. I would imagine for Trurenbar, this is going to put him ahead of Seesaw into second place. Coming into turn 14, the last corner now. Rear wing open. And it's a 14-1 for him. It goes fourth behind Lizard, but that's definitely enough to get him into Q2. No doubt about it. Who else is also out on circuit? Exotic Alpha is on a flying lap. He's the next driver to cross over the line, so we'll stay with him. There's a few drivers retiring from the session at this point. Confident enough they'll make it into Q2. Exotic Alpha's time in Sector 2 is a 53.0. So he's on course possibly for a low 1 minute 14. He's on a 1 minute 14.8. What time does he manage to find in the last sector? It's not as quick as before, and he stays 12th with that time. The AlphaTauri of Becco is next, a 10th up in Sector 2 from his previous best, and not a good Sector 3, I'm afraid, so he stays 11th. Liverpool fan on a flying lap. I think he just posted another time, but wasn't better than before, and he stays 17th. Safdar's just started a flying lap as well. He's in need of a better time. A much better time, anyway. We've got a Red Bull. He's just exiting the last corner now. That's Quick Killer. So the Rocky Q1 starting his fastest lap time now. He's Exotic Alpha, who has backed off on this occasion because he knows he's not going to improve. Becco's not on a good lap either. How is Liverpool fan getting on? He's exceeded track limits, so he'll need to go again. He's got one last effort to improve, or he will be out of qualifying. Safdar is right behind him, so Liverpool fan needs to be careful here, not to impede him. Yeah, he goes onto the runoff area to move out of the way of Safdar. Safdar through the last turn. What is this time going to be for him? Will he get out of the bottom 5? Yes, he will. It's a 1 minute 14.8. That puts him 13th on the timing pages. Liverpool fans in the pits, so he's out of qualifying. Still waiting for 2 more to be eliminated. Jay Hartnell's improved to 15th on a 15.1. That pushes Lunar Ascari into the drop zone. Quick Killer's latest lap has been invalidated, so he's got one more opportunity to improve. Nearly quits the pit wall as he tries to get the best line coming onto the start-finish straight. He's starting his last lap time now, so he's in desperate need of a better lap. Lunar Ascari is out on circuit as well, coming through the end of Sector 2, so she has got time to get a better lap in there. Becco, let's see what his lap time's like in Sector 2. He's had his lap invalidated, you can tell, because the map has gone red on his dash. Exotic Alpha's not on a better lap either. And Quick Killer's first sector wasn't very good. Jay Hartnell losing time in Sector 2 and in Sector 3. So I don't think Jay Hartnell's going to be on a better lap. He's not. Oh, he's spun. Jay Hartnell has spun. Gets the car turned round. And he'll make his way back into the pit lane. But he is on the bubble of being knocked out of qualifying. Lunar Ascari, nearly 2 tenths up from her previous best in Sector 1. So Jay Hartnell looks like he's in big trouble at the moment. Quick Killer is not going to improve on this lap. He's out of qualifying. So it's a shootout between Lunar Ascari and Jay Hartnell for the last elimination place in Q1. Lunar Ascari's second sector time is good. Quarter of a second up from her PB. So she's looking very good to bag her place into Q2. Jay Hartnell on the brink of going out. One more turn to negotiate for the Alfa Romeo driver. Can Lunar Ascari get into Q2. DRS open on the start from the straight. It's a 1 minute 15.0, and she goes up to 15th and pushes Jay Hartnell out of qualifying. So we have our 5 eliminated drivers, who are Jay Hartnell, Quick Killer, Liverpool fan, Dan Murphy, and Dean Phelan. That was an interesting Q1 session. We did lose 2 drivers earlier on. Dean Phelan was disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Dan Murphy, as he has done in every round this season, doesn't take part in qualifying. He's out. Liverpool fan didn't make it either. Quick Killer knocked out. Jay Hartnell, his Red Bull teammate, likewise. So we have our 5 drivers eliminated from Q1. I think Q2 is going to probably be more of an interesting session than the first part. Just waiting for some drivers to make their way out onto the circuit for this 15-minute Q2 session to determine the slowest 5 drivers before the top 10 advance into Q3. And this is a moment where race strategy comes into it, because we have drivers who are going to be going for a time on the medium compound and hope that it will be quick enough to see them get into Q3. Lezard will most certainly be one of them. Table Piece is another. Turin Bar likewise. Possibly Seesaw and Harry. Maybe Nathan as well. Pimis possibly. They'll be considering setting their first time laps on the mediums. Becco's another one of them as well, actually, because he's just making his way out onto the circuit on a set of mediums. So who's out on circuit now? So we've got Harry, who's on the medium compound. Rome's Republic likewise. Exotic Alpha, Nathan. Lezard's on softs, which is interesting. And Becco on mediums as well. So we'll go to the first driver who's ahead of the queue, which is Harry. We have 11 drivers now out on circuit. We'll make that 12 because Orange and Gamma is making his way out onto the racetrack. So Harry is coming through now to start his first flying lap. What can the replacement for Mystic Joker produce? Now for sector 1, he wants to be in the high 26s. And he is in the high 26s, a 26.9 for him. He's got no one in front of him in terms of traffic, so he shouldn't be hindered by any drivers. That's right on board with him. Nailing the apexes nicely, not taking too much curb on the outside. A little bit of curb into 10 and then 11. 12, turn 12 is next up. Gets the car turned in nicely. We've got turn 13 to come. And then 14 is here. Uses all the curve on the outside. It's a 1 minute 15.3 on the mediums for Harry. Will that be quick enough to see him get through to Q3? Lezard going on a 13.4, which is considerably better than what he had set in Q1. Romans Republic going third on a 15.8. Got Big Balls Bells going on a 14.0. And then a McLaren of, I think it was the Racing Point of Exotic Alpha posting a 15.5. So we're not seeing some very, very quick times, to be honest with you, those who are sitting on the medium. So I think the soft tyres are going to be the way to go if you want to get into Q3. Bar is next up for Mercedes. He's just coming through to post a 14.5, which is the fastest of those who have set their times on the medium. So I think Bar's got a good chance of making it through into Q3 on the mediums, unlike Harry, Exotic Alpha, and Romans Republic. Orange and Gamma is crossing the line for Ferrari. On the soft compound, it's a 13.8. Now, who's next up behind? Got Becco, who's on the mediums. One more turn to go before he powers his AlphaTauri down the start-finish straight. It's a 15.5 for him, so it's not very good for Becco. Definitely not good enough. So he'll probably need to go again on the soft compound to have any chance of getting into Q3. Scurry just starting a flying lap, and Nathan's in the barriers on his medium compound. I won't do those mediums any good by spinning like that or spinning the rear wheels. We've got Bar coming back into the pit lane. Harry likewise, and the Mercedes of Nathan Lizard. Done enough to get into Q3, so he sits out the remainder of the session. Here is Luna Ascari in the Alfa Romeo. And he just scraped into Q2 by the skin of her teeth, to be honest with you. She's on the mediums for her first run, unless he's... I can only think that she wants to save a set of the softs for the end of Q2. It's a 54.1 through sector 2, so I don't think she's going to be on for a very, very quick time, to be honest with you, on the mediums. She'll want to try and get ahead of Harry in 5th place, but the fastest lap that Luna Ascari has done was a 15.1 in Q1, and that was on the soft compound. Over the line she goes. It's a 15.8. That puts her slowest of all the drivers who have set times on the mediums, so she'll need to most certainly go again. Table Piece has started his flying lap on the mediums. So we've got Table Pieces on the flying lap. Plymouth has just gone past the pit lane as well. Can both Table Piece and Plymouth make it through to Q3 on the medium compound? We'll go back to Table Piece. Has just gone through the chicane of 6, 7. Through 8 and 9 he goes, and then 10. And then the right-hander 11 that follows. And his sector 2 time is very, very good for Table Piece. Now, he'll want to be in the 1-minute 14s like Bar had set earlier. He's got a couple of cars ahead of him. One that's coming into the pit lane, one that's just going down the start-finish straight now. So Table Piece is fine in terms of traffic. Powers out of the last corner. DRS open onto the start-finish straight. So 1-minute 14.6. That should be enough of a buffer for Table Piece. But you may consider going out on the softs at the end of this session. Pimis is next up behind. What's he producing at the moment? It's a 16.1. That's a really poor time, that, for Pimis, so he'll most certainly need to go again. He is in the drop zone anyway. We've got an Alfa Romeo that's on an outlap. That's Soft Dart. So he is coming through now to start another flying lap. We'll go back to Knight as he's coming through sector 2. It's a 53.3 on the mediums. Now, a lot of these drivers will be thinking more about the race, to be honest with you. Knight coming through. It'll be a 1 minute 15.0, which is the third fastest time of all of those have set on the mediums. Will that be enough for him to get into Q3? Not so sure. Luna Ascari has been pushed into the drop zone, so we know that she'll need to most certainly go out again. Safdar is in sector 2 at the moment, going past the turns of 6 and 7 and 8. He's on the medium compound as well. There's a runner up ahead of him, but he's lost that lap time now because he's exceeded track limits. Will he decide to go again? Or will he come straight back into the pit lane? I think there's only going to be one option for him. That's to come straight back. I think he may choose to carry on, actually, and get another lap in there, so at least he's got something to bank. But he needs to be ever so quick to get back into the pits to put a set of the softs on if he is to go out again. Seesaw. Yet to post a time. He's on the medium compound. Take over for oversteer, exiting turn 2. His time in sector 1 is a 26.8. But he's pushed too hard. He's cut the corner at turn 4. And that's his lap time over there. So I can imagine he'll want to just come straight back into the pits and go again. Safdar on a 26.8 in sector 1 has kept his car within the track limits there. He's got a Renault that's just going through turns 9 and 10 now, so he should be okay. .53.5. Going through the last turn, rear wing open. It'll be a 1 minute 15.0. Puts him ahead of Knight. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to see him through. We've just seen, I think it was Nathan who's just come through actually to post a 13.9 on the soft compound. So you can see a clear difference between those who are setting times on the softs to those on the mediums. Seesaw's gone on for another lap. His target is Becco's 10th place. It's a 15.3, so that's what he needs to be going for. I suppose with him on less fuel now, that may help him in terms of speed. It's a 53 exact, so I think Seesaw could be on for a decent lap here. Let's see what his last sector is like. There's no one in front of him, no one to impede him, so he's got a clean run to the line. Rear wing open, and it's a 14.4 for him. Great lap from Seesaw, that should see him through. Great lap by him. Perhaps he was on less fuel as well in comparison to his previous runs, that may have helped him, but that is nevertheless a very, very good time. Exotic Alpha is out on soft tyres in 12th. He needs a better lap than before. As does Roman's Republic, who's out again in the Ferrari. This should be in the 52s here for Exotic Alpha. It's a 53.0 actually, but he is 6/10 up from his previous best, so he's most certainly going to go into the top 10. But he's had that lap invalidated because he's exceeded track limits on the exit of turn 12, so he'll have to go again. Not sure what time he's going to be able to find, but he hasn't got much time, unless he wants to just recharge the battery. We'll go to Roman's Republic next, who's 1.2 seconds up from his previous best in Sector 2. So we'll ride on board with him as he comes through turns 13 and 14. And this should put him into the 1 minute 14. So it's a 1 minute 14.1 for him. And he goes up to 5th with that time. So Pinnis in the Williams coming through. It's a 1 minute 14.8. He goes up to 9th with that time. Enquiries is just starting his flying lap. Harry's just starting a flying for his, so we'll go back to Becco. Rear wing open. It's a 14.4. Goes up to 6th. That pushes Safdar into the drop zone, and he's out of qualifying as well. So Safdar won't be going through. Exotic Alpha, I think he's just prepping for a final run. Luna Ascari's out on the circuit as well. I think she's left it too late though. Yes, she has. So Luna Ascari is out of qualifying. She will not make it through to Q3. No, Exotic Alpha. I don't know what on earth he was doing there, because he was just leaving until he got onto the start-finish straight. But you want to be starting, getting the power down in the middle of that last corner. So it's not really good driving that from Exotic Alpha, not very clever at all. Knight is coming through in the McLaren. It's a 13.6 for him. It goes up to 2nd. So he should be safely through. Harry's next behind. It's a 14.1. And that puts him in 6th place. Pimis is in the pits, so he's out of qualifying. Schurumbar is in the drop zone. He's on a much better time than before, though. So, should he keep his car within the confinements of the racetrack, he should go through. It's a 13.6. That pushes Seesaw into the drop zone, so Seesaw is out. He will not be going through. Exotic Alpha's had his lap time invalidated, so he's out as well. So we have our 5 drivers who are eliminated in Q2. They are Seesaw, Pimis, Safdar, Exotic Alpha, and Luna Ascari. So here's confirmation. So Seesaw is out in 11th, Pimis 12th, Safdar 13th, Exotic Alpha 14th, Luna Ascari in 15th place. We don't seem to have any drivers picking up grid penalties during that session. We don't. So Q3 beckons. And the only driver to advance into Q3 on the mediums is Total Ps, who qualified through in 10th. He only just got through by 0.03 of a second as well. So he's done well to get that lap time in. We've got a driver making his way out onto the racetrack. That is a racing point of Big Balls Bells. What we're going to see from him in this final part of qualifying. So Big Balls Bell's coming through. Don't worry about the invalidation. He is on an outlap after all. So can Big Balls Bells put himself in the realms of perhaps the top 5? It's possible. So he crosses over the line to start his first fine lap of Q3. There are 2 drivers who are coming through turn 2 at the moment. He should be okay at this moment of time, but we'll keep you updated. Oh, he got a kick of wheel spin as he exited turn 1. That'll cost him some speed and time. Turn 2 wasn't the best entry, which will compromise his entry into 3. What's he like through 4? Very nice, actually. Turn 5, not so good. Went very wide. Turn 6 and 7. Quite a late rotation into 6. Had to be cautious through 8 as well. There was a McLaren on the left-hand side he had to take into consideration about. Turns 10 and 11. Not too bad. Turn 12, he turned in probably too early there. Now turn 13. Not too bad. And then turn 14. How does he rotate the car in there? It's not too bad of a line. Doesn't need to be turning in that much, if I'm honest with you. He is over the line into 14-1. So Big Balls Bells sets the pace for later on. Total P's on a 1 minute 13.4 for him. We've got a few drivers on now flying laps in the moment. Lezard will be one of them as well. The Mercedes of Nathan is next up to produce a lap time of his own. The 14-0. 14-7 for him, puts him 4th. And then we've got the Ferrari of Orange and Gamma next behind. It's a 52.6 through sector 2. Orange and Gamma across the line. It's a 13.7 for him. 3/10 away from pole position. So we are waiting for Lezard to come through. We've got Knight also next for McLaren. The 14-1 that puts him 5th on the timing pages. Lezard's time on this lap is not so good at the moment, so he'll be coming back into the pit lane. 53.0 for Becco, that's not too bad. Becco across the line is a 14.3. Puts him 7th. The 2 drivers who have not posted times yet are still in the pits. So I can imagine all those who have set their lap times will be coming straight back into the pits, go on to their last set of soft tyres for a last gasp effort. So whilst we're waiting for that, just maybe update the audio settings just to make the experience a little bit better. Yeah, it's just a little play around, maybe with the master volume a little bit. In regards to the Drivers' Championship in the Tier 1 category, Lizard is very much running away with it. So Lizard's lead in the championship is 63 points over Mystic Joker. Now remember, Mystic Joker isn't racing tonight, so Lizard has a great opportunity to extend the points gap over him. But remember, 40 points are on offer for pole position, so for a race win. So just looking at Roman's Republic, who's coming round to start. Another flying lap. It was a 14.7 he had set earlier on. He's coming round now to start what will probably be his last flying lap, unless he's got enough fuel to do one last run. Turn 2 he comes. Nails it perfectly, actually. What's his line like through 3? Not too bad. He had to take a tighter line through there. Turn 4, I think he had to compromise a little bit of speed to make sure he didn't exceed track limits on the exit. Turn 5 was fine. How about 6 and 7, taking quite a lot of curb on the exit. Turn 8 and 9. Very nicely done. Positioning the car brilliantly for 11. It's a 52.7 through sector 2, so he's 0.4 up from his personal best. Now with the lap time he's about to set, he could go ahead of Becco on the grid with this run. So here's Roman's Republic coming through turn 14, which is also the last corner. Rear wing open. It'll be a 1 minute 14.1 that puts him ahead of Knight into 6th place. So we've got over 2 minutes remaining. Drivers are starting to make their way out onto the circuit for their last runs now. Roman's Republic is one of them. What can we expect to see from Romans? We're looking to see how he's doing this season. But Roman's Republic has had a 7th, an 8th, a 15th and a 5th so far this season. This is though that 6th will be the highest he'll be starting today, unless he's going to go for one last run. He has got enough fuel to do one last run, so he'll be turning up his ERS mode to hot lap, which he does now, and he'll be going on his last run in Q3. So who's on a flying lap now? Lezard's just started his final flying lap in the AlphaTauri. He hasn't set a lap in Q3 at the moment. He hasn't always taken pole position this season. The only time he's missed out on pole was in Canada. Smalley took pole position that time. Just about kept the car within the limits. Lester's got a Mercedes coming up who moves out of the way. Nathan is also on the flying lap at the moment, so we'll come to him in a moment. Romans Republic is as well. We'll go to Romans Republic after Lizard. So 20 seconds to go. Lizard crosses over the line. Now it'll be a 1 minute 13.0, and he goes to pole position. So Lizard is on provisional pole by nearly 4/10. That's a great lap from him. What about Romans Republic? He's come back into the pit lane. So we'll go to Nathan next, who's had his lap time invalidated, so he can't improve. So Nathan will start no higher than 5th. The next driver to cross the line is the Renault of Harry. It's a 52.6 through Sector 2. He's the only other driver to not post a lap time in Q3. But he's about to now. Through turn 13 he comes through. Turn 14, the last turn. DRS open. And it'll be a 1 minute 13.9. Goes 5th fastest with that time. Knight is next up for McLaren. Goes up to 8th with a 1 minute 14.1. So he goes ahead of Romans Republic. Big Balls Bells is next. He's over 3/10 up from his previous best in Sector 2. This might put him up to 5th at this time, maybe. It puts him 4th. So it's a 1 minute 13.6 for Big Balls Bells. Great lap time there. Total Peace goes to pole position now. 1 minute 12.7 for him. So Total Peace, with that last gasp effort, has taken pole position in Hungary. Brilliant, brilliant effort by the Williams driver, who's been quick throughout qualifying, and he's got his reward for it. I think Schirnbauer made it up into 2nd place as well. So Lezard will start 3rd on the grid, which is his lowest grid position of the season so far. So Total Peace is on pole position with Schirnbauer in 2nd, Lezard and Big Balls Bells on row 2, Onjin Gemma and Harry on row 3, that's Nathan, and Knights on row 4, Romans Republic and Becco make up the top 10 on row 5. So brilliant qualifying session for Total Peace and Schirnbauer. Can they convert that into the race win? Well, Lezard has won every race so far this season in the Tier 1 category. Could that record end here tonight? Well, in a moment or so, we'll be seeing the drivers go onto their formation lap for the Hungarian Grand Prix, round 5 of the Formula Racing League Tier 1 category. Thank you for pointing that out for me, I'm a random person. Yes, my mic was on mute for the start. And, yeah. So Turenbar's in the pits after damage at the start. And Harry's out! Harry's out of the race. Not sure what's happened. He's binned it on the exit of turn 4. And we've got a virtual safety car on the second lap of this Hungarian Grand Prix. And Harry, after doing so well in qualifying, one of the reserves who's been called in for this evening, has binned it on the exit of turn 4. So that may come to Turenbar's rescue actually a little bit, because he did just pit in for the hard tyres after getting his front wing damaged on the opening lap. And so he's out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, Harry's out of the Hungarian Grand Prix, I should say. So Total P still in the lead. Will he take the opportunity to pit in at the end of lap 2? I don't think so. Lezard doesn't. Neither does Big Balls Bells. I think the race is going to get back underway here, actually. Once the map goes green, that indicates that the race has got back underway. Just look to see if there's going to be any drivers being penalised on the restart. Doesn't seem as though. But Knight is all over the back of Lezard on the restart. Goes to the inside as they come out. Turn 1, a little bit of contact there, sidewall to sidewall. That's fine. But Knight will be back for more as Lezard continues to close the door on him. So Safdar in 15th position as Big Balls Bells gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times. So his aggressive race is going from bad to worse at the moment. The stewards may want to have a look at his manoeuvre on Turenbar at the start, because he did come from quite a way back to make a lunge down the inside. He made contact with Turenbar and Total Peace, I think it was. But DRS has already been enabled as we are on lap 3. So let's see what Lezard can do from here on. He is just over a second off Total Peace, so he won't be able to use his DRS when he gets onto the start-finish straight. But Knight will. It's good news for him, actually, because he can use that to fend off the racing point of Big Balls Bells behind him. Origin Gamma is in 5th position ahead of Roman's Republic. Nathan in 7th. Then it's Seesaw. Exotic Alpha fending off Becco, with Pimis right behind in 11th place. Dan Murphy doing well once again from the back of the grid in 14th. There's Turenbar right at the back of the field, but I suppose with him having track position, he may be able to use that to his advantage to complete an undercut on a lot of the drivers. If he gets a safety car, that will very much come to his rescue. Total Piece still in front. Knight going wide on the exit of turn 11. I hope he didn't get a track limits warning for that. Big Balls Bells in 4th place. He'll use the DRS on the start-finish straight now. I think the tyres for Total Peace are very much coming into their window, so Lezard will be thinking about when to pit. But the only problem is, where will he feed back out when he does pit? His teammate Becco is in the pits now for AlphaTauri, so making the early switch at the end of lap 4 to go on to a set of the mediums. So we need to see what his pace is like, and he's got some clean air, has Becco. Dean Phelan and Dan Murphy doing fine jobs from the back of the grid, those two. Quick Killer in 11th. One of the reserves for this evening being called in. Liverpool fan in 16th place. Oh, there's a collision. One of the Hasses spun round. That's Dean Phelan who spun into the gravel. He must have had a coming together with Quick Killer on the exit. And Becco's out. Becco is out of the race. I think he's binned it on the exit 4, you know. unless he started coming together with Turenbar, but Becco has retired straight out of the pits as well. And we've got our first safety car of the race, which will play into the hands of those who have started on the soft compound. Now, Lizard is one of them. Doesn't lose too much time, but he's going to be in so much traffic when he rejoins. Now, most of the drivers are coming in, actually. Now, did Lizard... I think Lizard was behind Luna Ascari when they crossed that line there. Yes, he was. So he just lets Luna Ascari back through. So Becco becomes the second retirement of the race after crashing out at turn 4. The safety car is out. That's picked up Tailpiece. Now, Tailpiece is going to have to stay out. Whilst those... I think Lizard is the highest of those who has pitted in this race. He's in 9th place now, and on the hard tyres. So, will he decide to go to the end on those? Or will he come in for perhaps a set of the soft compounds towards the end of the race? We'll have to wait and see. Now, how long will it be before the safety car decides to come in? I doubt he'll come in at the end of this lap. Normally at this stage of the race, the safety car does 2 laps before it comes back in. So Tailpiece leads on at the end of lap 6. Seesaw in 2nd place, ahead of Exotic Alpha. Then it's Pimis, Safdar, Liverpool fan Dan Murphy, who had survived after that coming together with his teammate, Dean Phelan. And Luna Ascari, the last of the drivers who has yet to pit in this race, is in 8th. And all of this has helped Turenbar close back up now, so he's got an opportunity to use the restart as an opportunity to get ahead of some of these drivers. Now Tailpiece continuing to warm up his mediums. Now Seesaw's tyres will be in better condition at this point than those around him who have started on the medium, so this could play into Seesaw's hands to get in front of Tailpiece on the restart. Tailpiece just wants as many points as he can post-race, or by the end of the race. And just to remind you of the points format, it's not the same as real-life Formula 1. It's the top 15 who score points. So the race winner would get 40, second place driver would get 32, third place driver would get 26, and it's 20 for 4th, 18 for 5th, right all the way down to 15 for 1 point. The driver who sets the pole position time gets a point as well, which was Tailpiece earlier on. And should this driver finish inside the top 10, they'll get a point for the fastest lap as well. So the safety car is in this lap at the end of lap 7, so Tailpiece has an opportunity to slow down, dictate the pace, and he'll decide to go when he wants to. He can't just go and then jam on the brakes in front of the field and then go again. When he bolts clear, he has to remain clear of the field. And Tailpiece get a good restart here. He's decided to go now and leaves the field for dead. That's a very good restart there from Tailpiece. Can Exotic Alpha make a move on Seesaw? Not quite at this point. Now, who's making a move on the restart? We've got Knight in 10th place, with Big Balls Bells 11th, Orange and Gamma in 12th. And there's a lock up there from Nathan in 13th position. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. The Tailpiece is pulling clear, 8 tenths in front of Seesaw. And we're looking to stretch that. Later on, Jay Hartnell is the next driver to be given a penalty of some sort. Nathan gets the 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I think Jay Hartnell's penalty is a drive-through for speed and on the safety car, so he'll need to take that within the next, I think it's within the next 2 laps actually, because he has crossed the line when the restart had happened. And if I was Jay Hartnell, I would just come in, get it out of the way, and you've got track position. Now Pimis in 4th place behind the Exotic Alpha. Jay Hartnell does come in to serve his drive-through penalty. And Lezard down the inside of Luna Ascari into turn 1. And that puts his AlphaTauri back up into 8th place. How long will it be before he gets by the rest of these guys before he challenges Total Peace for the win? He needs to get on with it, does Lezard. And Safdar going wide on the exit of 4. DRS hasn't been enabled yet. Safdar coming through. DRS is now enabled. Safdar can use his ERS to get in front of Pimis actually. Goes to the outside as they head down into turn 1. Safdar going to the outside, makes Pimis fight it out. Pimis gets some bad wheel spin off the exit, and Safdar makes the overtake. Yeah, he's done the overtake down into turn 2 by the looks of it. So Safdar moves his Alfa Romeo up into 4th place. That's a very nice move there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Can he go after Exotic Alpha? Total Peace has now got a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, which will favour Lezard a lot actually. Pimis also gets the same penalty, so both Williams drivers have had the book thrown at them by the stewards. And someone's had enough in sector 2. It's Roman's Republic, who's gone for a spin for Ferrari, and he's broken his front wing as well. Total Peace still in front. Pimis is in 5th place behind Safdar. There's the Liverpool fan who's yet to stop in this race. There's Lezard all over the back of Dan Murphy's Haas. And someone else has had a spin in sector 3. I think that's to do with Dean Phelan and Nathan, actually. Yes, they have. They've come together. So Dean Phelan and Nathan have come together on the exit of the penultimate turn. So they will need to... Well, Nathan doesn't need to come back into the pits, but Dean Phelan does. Roman's Republic is also back in. And will they choose to carry on? I think they may as well. Oh, there's a coming together, and that's Big Boss. Oh, he's taking the Ferrari with him. And Big Boss Bowles, who was tussling with the likes of Knight and Luna Ascari, has taken Orange and Gamma with him as well. So Orange and Gamma's got damage. Big Boss Bowles' race goes from bad to worse. Now that'll move drivers like Churimba up another couple of positions. So Churimba up into 11th place behind Luna Ascari now. Now Lezard did get by Dan Murphy on this lap. Now he's all over the back of the McLaren of Liverpool fan. Coming through turn 12. There's turn 13 next. Safdar now all over the back of the racing point of Exotic Alpha. Rear wing open. Is there going to be a change for 3rd position here? Not this time around. Big Boss Bells is in the pits though, as is Orange and Gamma. Both of these drivers' races have been compromised. But remember, the top 15 do score points in this race, so they may as well keep going. Jay Hartwell moves up a couple of positions because of those two. Total Pieces lead 1.5 seconds. Knight gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. We've got a Mercedes off. That is... Oh, Quick Killer's spun. And Nathan's had a moment down at turn 3 by the looks of things. Quick Killer's had an incident of his own. He must have picked up damage in that. He has picked up damage on the left-hand side of his front wing, so he'll need to come back in. Nathan most certainly needs a new front wing. So we've had plenty of drivers pitting for repairs in this race so far. Total Piece is not one of them. Safdar has got past Exotic Alpha to put his Alfa Romeo up into 3rd place now. Lessard's got ahead of Liverpool Fan. So the next driver up from him is Pimis. Dan Murphy, can he pull off a brilliant move here on Liverpool Fan with DRS down into turn 1? He thought about it, but decides to hold back and maybe wait either into turn 2 or the next time around to get the move done. There's Nathan, who's struggling to get the car turned into turn 13. Big Balls Bells and Orange and Gamma go past him. And I think Nathan, with all the frustration looming around him, may decide to call it quits here. It's such a shame because he was brilliant in qualifying. So what will he decide to do? Goes on a set of the mediums. And he will continue on his way. Now, how long will it be before Total Peas comes in for a change of tyres? One thing he has to consider is track position. Now, the good news for him is that Quick Killer is 10 seconds behind Turin Bar, actually. So, if Total Peas was to pit now, he would rejoin behind Turin Bar, but with track position. So Leslie's got past Pimis into 5th place now into turn 1. So it's another driver out of the way. Now can Leslie take these tyres to the end? And someone's had enough in sector 2. It's the Mercedes of Nathan who's spun again. Oh, his race is going from bad to worse now, and he's a lap down on the leaders. Now he's got to be careful not to rejoin into the path of other drivers. Orange and Gamma with a new fastest lap for Ferrari. Yeah, Nathan's just had a really torrid race throughout this one. It's just not been his day at all. Turin Bar's now ahead of Luna Ascari. He's put his Mercedes up into 10th. Now Lezard is all out for the back of Exotic Alpha, and I think we'll see a change for 4th position here. Exotic Alpha getting a little bit out of shape through 13. Now onto the start-finish straight we go on the exit of 14. Lezard with DRS. Exotic Alpha doesn't have that luxury, and I think there's going to be one winner on this occasion. Nathan's back in the pits, and he's out of the race. It's a shame because he was running very well, got into Q3, and just incidents against him had put him on the back foot and decides to call it a day. So Leslie puts his AlphaTauri up into 4th place now. Turin Bar still behind Knight in the battle for 9th. There's a cue there from Liverpool fans to Dan Murphy, then Knight, and then Turin Bar. Luna Ascari in 11th place. And someone's had a moment down in sector 1. That'll be the other Mercedes of... Oh, that'll be for Nathan, who's just retiring. So Lizard now within a second of Safdar. Nailing the apexes very, very well around here. And looks like Luna Ascari has spun on the exit of turn 10. She's damaged his front wing as well. So she'll be in need of a new front wing. She's not out of the frame for points, but that won't do the chances of scoring any good whatsoever. Total pieces in the pits then for Williams. Goes on to the hard tyres. And who will rejoin. Well, I'll say he's in track position, or clean air. He'll be right in the thick of this traffic here because Dan Murphy has pulled off an overtake on Liverpool fan to put him up into 6th position. Liverpool fan's going to try and fight back, but Dan Murphy has it covered and keeps hold of that place. No tackle piece now. He's got a couple of seconds in hand actually before he catches up to Churinbar. So he's not like right in the thick of it yet, but he will do soon. So Seesaw takes the lead of this race now, with Safdar second and Lezard right behind in 3rd place. Although Lezard on fresher tyres. Be careful not to exceed track limits there, dude. Dean Phelan with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and he's calling it a day as well. So Dean Phelan, another day to forget for him. But Lezard out of the last turn. Now, will he be able to pull off this overtake, actually? Because there are yellow flags. Goes to the inside. Gets the move done just after the yellow flag zone and goes up into 2nd position. Someone has had a moment down there. It's Churinbar. Churinbar is the next to spin. Now, has he picked up damage in all that? He may have done there. I just want to have a look on the left-hand side of his front wing. It seems to still be intact. Or has he actually damaged it? I think he may have damaged it, actually. Yeah, he's damaged it on the left-hand side, so that won't do his aerodynamic performance any good whatsoever. So his race going from bad to worse now for Churinbar. So Total P's up to 7th place now. Knight is the next driver ahead of him. Does Total P's go into or try and pull off the overtake into 6th? The answer is no. Knight still behind Liverpool fan. Dan Murphy's in 4th place now because of Exotic Alpha coming into the pits. Liverpool fan lets his teammate through and kindly lets Total P's go as well. But Liverpool fans' tyres will be pretty much second hand at this point. So Total P's right behind Knight in the battle for 5th place. DRS open on the Williams. Down the start finish straight they go. Safdar's in the pits. Total P's going to the inside. And up to 4th he goes. Next man up from it is Dan Murphy. Won't be too long before he gets onto the back of him. Dan Murphy pitted at the end of the first lap. Oh, no, in fact, no, he's been on those tyres since the start of the race, as Dan Murphy. So he'll be looking to take those tyres as far as he can before he'll probably go on to a set of the mediums. But Churinbar is back in the pits for Mercedes. He's deciding to carry on, maybe go for the fastest lap if he can and try and get back into the top 10, maybe. Now he'll rejoin ahead of Luna Ascari. Now Seesaw has been on the hard since the start. Looking very, very good for a strong finish here. Maybe get a podium out of this. Lezard in 2nd place on the fresher hard tyres. It's hard tyres that are 6 laps fresher than Seesaw's. So we should start to see a pace difference. Total P's all over the back of the Haas of Dan Murphy as they come down the start finish straight. And Total P's back up to 3rd on the road. It's now 10.5 seconds behind his rival in this race, which is Lezard. Liverpool fan in the pits now for McLaren. Gets rid of those medium tyres and goes on to the hards. Liverpool fan having a better race today than he had done in most. His best results so far this season, I should say, has been a 9th place finish in Canada. Now, Quick Killer, I would imagine, will pit in before the end of this race, so Liverpool fan has got a good chance of finishing a 9th or higher in this race, provided he does not get any time penalties. And Romans Republic is back in the pits for Ferrari for another set of the medium compound. And he'll rejoin behind Seesaw and Lezard, who are coming up to lap him. we're now on lap 20 as Dan Murphy pits in for Haas. At the end of lap 19, he'll go on to a set of the mediums that will take him to the end of the race. Where will this put him back out? Or put him back out, I would say, behind Pimis but ahead of Quick Killer. And so he does. Quick Killer still carrying that damage from his off earlier. Bar with a new fastest lap for Mercedes. So 1:16.6. He's got plenty of time to get back into the top 10, so he won't give in at this point. .6 seconds the gap has come down to now between Seesaw and Lezard. Now, how long will Seesaw continue to stay out there on those hards? He has to pit before this race is done, either for the mediums or for the softs. I can imagine the mediums are the ones he'll want to be on. I would say maybe the end of this lap. Now, in terms of track position, he should be able to get out in front of Safdar. Setting some very good times at the moment, though, is Seesaw. He's got no traffic to deal with in front of him. In fact, the next car ahead of him on the road is the Red Bull of Jay Hartnell in 15th place, who's just going through turn 13 now. So Seesaw could just keep track position if he wants to. He's got over 3 seconds in hand over Lezard, so he's not in the fight. Gamma in the pits now, though, for Ferrari. Going to a set of mediums, and he's out on his way. But Seesaw does decide to pit in at the end of this lap. He's had enough of those hard tyres. Going to go on to a set of the medium compound. Can Renault produce a clockwork pit stop? They can. Seesaw is out on his way. Where will this put him? He'll rejoin behind Knight, but well ahead of Safdar. Yeah, Safdar's just coming down the start finish right now and over the line. So Seesaw rejoins in 4th place. And on better tyres than the leaders. Won't be too long before he gets onto the rear of the McLaren. Should he be quick enough, he may be able to get moved on the start-finish straight the next time these guys come round. So that leaves Lezard back in the lead then, with 14 laps remaining. Table P's 9 seconds off the lead, but Lezard's tyres are 10 laps older than Table P's. Lezard's got no traffic to deal with either, so he's got to make a decision at this point. Does he pit in for tyres, or does he see his hards out to the end? It's a very tough decision at this point. Now, if he was to stay out and lose the lead, he should keep hold of second. Unless Seesaw has a say on that, because he's on much fresher tyres now than the leaders. And his pace, they set on his outlap, is beginning to show. DRS is open now on the start-finish straight. And this move from Seesaw is going to be very, very easy. Gets the move done before the corner. And because he was behind him at the detection point, we can use the DRS again and start pulling away and close in on the leaders. So that's something to bear in mind for Lezard. So I think if Lezard's going to win this race, he may have to stay out. But as the old saying, Grand Prix racing, catching is one thing, passing is quite another. And not to mention, actually, I've almost forgot, Table P's is carrying a 3-second time penalty, which will aid Lezard's cause. So I think Lezard may as well stay out. Now Seesaw is less than 15 seconds off the lead with 13 laps remaining of this race. Well, 12 once Lezard crosses over the line here. what's going on further behind. What's the best battle out on track? We've got a battle for 13th place between Luna Ascari in the Alfa Romeo, Jay Hartnell in the Red Bull, and Orange and Gamma in the Ferrari. Imagine Orange and Gamma being involved in this, well, in the battle for the lead, really, for the race, had it not been for the collision he had earlier with Big Balls Bowles. He won't be too pleased with him post-race. He's on better tyres than Jay Hartnell and Luna Ascari, so this should be a fairly straightforward manoeuvre for him. Table pieces gap to Lezard as he closes in the gap just under what is now 8.3 seconds between those two. But Orange and Gamma with DRS down the start finish straight, right behind the Red Bull of Jay Hartnell. But because of Jay Hartnell using DRS as well, he won't be able to pull off the move there. Luna Ascari doing a very good job actually fending off these guys. I think Quick Killer may be considering coming into the pits for the soft compound to get to the end of the race on. And another battle out on track is between Pimis and Dan Murphy for 7th. Now Dan Murphy is on the better tyres at this stage than the Williams, so let's see if he can use DRS to his advantage. Should get into the slipstream, which he does. Pulls out, down the inside, and that's 7th place going to the Haas. It's another one of his back of the grid drives for Dan Murphy. We should perhaps give him a nickname as the comeback king. Now Seesaw continuing to closing on these 5.4 seconds off Total P's. Knight in 4th place, doing very well in the McLaren. He'll be looking to go to the end of the race on those. He is carrying that time penalty, remember though. Now looking at the time penalties, Total P's, Knights, Pimis, Churenbar and Romans have got 3 seconds each. Big Balls Bowles has got 6 seconds worth of time penalty. That's at this point anyway, so anything can still happen and can still change. Churenbar in 11th, looking to get past Big Balls Bowles, which would put him into the points. The driver who set the fastest up of the race so far is Churenbar, so should he get into 10th place, not only would he bug the points for finishing 10th, which is 8 points for him, but he'll also get the point for the fastest lap. Softar getting a 3-second time penalty now for exceeding track limits too many times, as is Pimis. That takes his total to 6. Now, the good news for Seesaw is if he gets to within 3 seconds of Total P's, he'd go up into 2nd place at the end of this race. Now, as it stands with the order as it is, I'm just trying to get the standings up. Lezard was 63 points ahead of Mystic Joker, who is absent from this race. Should Lezard take victory here today, that would see his lead increase. Oh, by a long way, actually. His lead will be as large as 103 points, which is more than 2 race wins. Now, Churenbar's 10th place, along with the point for the fastest lap, that would move on to 101 points and see it go a point behind Mystic Joker. And Table Peas with the pole position and the second place he's on course to get at the moment. I'll move on to 33, which would see him probably jump into the top 10 straight away with this result after missing the last 3 rounds and crashing out in the opening round of the season in Japan. There's Churumba, who's determined to get more points out of this race. He is carrying that time penalty, remember, of 3 seconds. He's right behind the McLaren of Liverpool fan. Down the start-finish straight they go. Liverpool fan immediately goes over to the right. Churumba goes over to the left, to the outside, on the racing line. And that's 9th place going to the Mercedes driver. So Churumba just needs to pull out a 3-second gap actually on Liverpool fan to keep hold of 9th place. That would see him bag another couple of points towards the championship. That would move him on to 103 points, which means the championship gap at the top would be 102 between him and Lezard, who still leads by 7.7 seconds. Although Table Peas may be able to get DRS actually on the start-finish straight. He was within a second behind Roman's Republic, who moves out of the way. Now, Lezard's tyres must be going off the cliff at the moment. But he doesn't need to win by a huge margin. He just needs to stay to within 3 seconds of Table Peas. And with 7 laps remaining here in Hungary, Lezard on course to make it 5 wins out of 5. Now here's Dan Murphy in 7th behind Exotic Alpha. Now the good news for Dan Murphy is that Exotic Alpha is carrying a time penalty. And Table Peas' race gets even worse now. He's got 6 seconds worth of time penalty because he's exceeded track limits too many times again. That would see him drop behind Seesaw. Therefore, Table Peas would need to try and pull out another couple of seconds on Seesaw if he was to keep hold of second. Quick Killer posted a new fastest lap for Red Bull. It's a 1 minute 16.4. He only just recently come into the pits actually, but because he's down in 15th place now, he wouldn't keep that fastest lap point. And someone else has gone wide actually. That's Luna Ascari, who's just lost the position. I wonder if she wasn't moving out of the way of the leaders. She just lost it all by herself. So Luna Ascari, with that mistake, has dropped down to 14th behind Jay Hartnell. Big Boss Bowles right behind Liverpool fan. The battle for 10th place. DRS open. Big Boss Bowles goes to the inside. Does he keep it clean this time? Unlike at the start. No, he can't. He nearly loses it. Nearly loses it again as he tries to get down on the power. And Exotic Alpha has got 3 seconds worth of time penalty now. And Seesaw behind the Ferrari of Roman's Republic, who should be moving out of the way at this point. Luna Scurry does pit in. She's pitted in for the softs. And rejoins behind Roman's Republic. I think she was moving out of the way actually to let Seesaw through as well. So Luna Scurry rejoins in 16th. She wants to go for the fastest lap. Five laps to go. Now the gap is 7.1 seconds. Lezard's managing his hard tyres brilliantly. That safety car really has helped those who have started on the softs in this race. There's nothing that can stop him now, to be honest with you, with Table Peas' time penalty. A quick killer in 14th, setting some fast times at the moment. What's his time like now? It's not as quick as before. Here's Luna Ascari. Can she pull off a move on Roman's Republic on her new tyres? Goes to the outside. And, oh, she makes contact with the Ferrari. I think she had the job done anyway. Roman's Republic should have backed out of it at that point. So Luna Ascari moves herself up into 15th position. The next driver up throw is Quick Killer, who's 7 seconds up the road. Seesaw closing in on the leaders. He's 2.4 behind Total P's and 9 seconds off Lizard, who is leading. Dan Murphy, he'll be happy with his 6th place at the moment. Just wants to have a look at his time penalty. It's only 3 seconds, so he would keep hold of 6th. Next one up from him is Safdar, who is 5th. Now, someone's had in sector 2. It's one of the racing points. It's Big Balls Bells, who has broken his front wing as well. Now, will he decide to carry on? I think he may as well. We are getting to the end of the race. He's got Orange and Gamma right behind him. And I think he's going to struggle to fend this one off, if I'm honest with you. Big Balls Bells will be coming into the pits to get a set of soft tyres on and maybe try and go for the fastest lap. Big Balls Bells is, he's just carrying his frustration on and on now, isn't he? He's got 9 seconds worth of time penalty. So if he lets Orange and Gamma through, he'll have an 8-second margin actually on Jay Hartnell. In fact, Big Balls Bells decides to carry on, which I think may well be the right thing to do actually. DRS open on the Ferrari, and that should see him through and up into 11th position. And there he goes. Easy as you like. And whilst we've been talking about that, Luna Ascari has posted a new fastest lap of the race. 2.7 seconds is the gap between her and Quick Killer. And someone else is in the pits now. It's Total P's. Now, is he going to go for the fastest lap? He is, because he knows he's going to lose the position to Seesaw anyway. He's got a good enough margin on Knight, who is coming down the start-finish straight now. Total P's is already at the exit, so he's got this outlap before one effort to get that fastest lap. I suppose that's the good thing about Formula 1 nowadays. There's also this fastest lap shootout between some of the drivers that decide to do it. So Seesaw's up into 2nd place on the road now. 8 seconds off the lead, so he won't be challenging Lizard for the race victory. We've got a battle for 4th position actually as Safdar closes in on Knight. And Dan Murphy's got a 6-second time penalty, which would drop him behind Exotic Alpha. Not good news for him. So if he was to finish 7th, actually, Dan Murphy, that would take his total up to... It was 52 before this race started. It'll take him up to 66. So he'll go ahead of Dixon. Don't think he'll go ahead of Smalley, but at least he'll move up his position in the Drivers' Championship anyhow. But we are now on the final lap as Lizard has taken these hard tyres as far as 28 laps, which is quite astonishing actually. On the start-finish straight, Safdar trying to get them moved on Knight. So he sits in behind. Exotic Alpha and decide not to go for it. Truenbar behind Pimis now. Now, Chirumbar doesn't need to actually pass Pimis because Pimis is carrying a time penalty that is more than Chirumbar. And Les's now got a time penalty, although that's not going to be enough to rob him of the race victory. But he's coming through the penultimate turn now, and then one more corner to negotiate. Lezard has been brilliant throughout the race, managing his tyres well. It's paid dividends. Lezard crosses the line to win the Hungarian Grand Prix in Budapest. He extends his lead at the top of the championship. There seems to be no one out there that can stop him from taking victory here. Seesaw comes home in a brilliant second place for Renault. And Table P's crossing over the line. This is surely going to be the fastest lap of the race as well. And it is so. So Table P's gets the point for the fastest lap. In third place, as well as 28 championship points. Knight comes home in fourth ahead of Safdar. Dan Murphy will drop behind Exotic Alpha. So Exotic Alpha will be sixth ahead of Dan Murphy. Chirumbar will replace Pimis in the fight for eighth. So Chirumbar at least coming away with some good points. Pimis in ninth. Liverpool fan will be 10th for McLaren. Orange and Gamma will finish ahead of Big Boss Bells. I think Jay Hartnell will finish ahead of Big Boss Bells with the time penalties applied. So he'll be 13th and the last driver on the lead lap. But it's victory for Lezard in Hungary. 5 wins out of 5. It's high fives all round for him and for AlphaTauri. So the drivers coming out now onto the podium. Chirumbar's 8th place finish. That puts him on to 104 points. That moves him into second place in the championship now ahead of Mystic Joker. So Les's lead at the top of the championship is at the moment now 101 points with 8 races remaining. So Lezard is your race winner in Hungary. Seesaw in second place on debut for Renault. Then it's Table Piece third. Knight in fourth. Safdar in fifth. Brilliant drive from him. Exotic Alpha, good drive from him from 14th to 6th. Dan Murphy, another one of his back of the good drives to 7th from 19th. Chirumbar in a disappointing 8th. Pimis 9th. Liverpool fan running out the top 10. The fastest lap going into Table Piece in third place, so the bonus point goes to him. Orange Gamma was 11th for Ferrari. Jay Hartnell 12th. Big Boss Bells 13th. Quick Killer 14th. Luna Ascari in 15th, Romans Republic, the last of the finishers, in 16th position. D Phelan retired in the pits after too much damage. Nathan, likewise. Becco crashed out, that caused the safety car, and Harry's retirement on the second lap, causing the virtual safety car at the beginning. Well, as I've already mentioned, Lezard extends his lead at the top of the championship to Chirumbar, who now moves up to second ahead of Mystic Joker. The gap now 101 points going into the next round of the championship, which will be next week, and the next round will be at Silverstone in Britain. For the Tier 1 race will be on the 25th of May, 8 PM British Summer Time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.